Guys, it's another episode of the Sober Spartan podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Andrew Nichols. And in this episode, I want to talk about the importance of adding a physical fitness routine into your daily life if you're getting on the road of sobriety. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about. But first, I want to go over a couple things. So this is episode 10. So I'm that's for me, that was a milestone. And I think I mentioned it in another episode, kind of my idea of what I wanted the podcast to look like. And I'm gonna start inviting guests because I said that I wanted to have some guests on and stuff. And for me, I told myself, I said, okay, after episode 10, to start reaching out and getting some people to come on the podcast. Because I feel like if we get a bunch of different people who have lived different experiences and we can kind of see what they look like before they got sober, and then what their journey was getting sober, and then what their life was like after they got sober. I think that's going to help a lot of people because a lot of things that I've learned over my journey were from stories from other people from different diverse backgrounds. So I think that's going to be really beneficial. So I'm going to start doing that because I said that I would, and I want to be a person who says what he's going to do when he's going to do it. Because if you go back and listen to my core values, integrity is one of my core values. So that's what I'm going to start doing. And so a couple things I'm going to ask from you listening. If you like the content that you're seeing on my podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Spotify, wherever you're viewing this. It would really help me because if I get more subscribers, it'll be more leverage that I can use when I'm reaching out to guests to get them to come on the podcast. Okay. So if you can do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. And then we'll start getting some guests on, have some good conversations. And I think it's going to be really beneficial. And it's not even going to be only beneficial for you. I'm going to get a lot of value out of it too. So it's going to be a win-win. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because 10 episodes was a milestone for me. So that's what I'm gonna start doing now. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about physical fitness and sobriety. So for me, I've always been a person that's been into physical fitness in some form or another. So when I was a kid, I was in that generation. There wasn't any cell phones or anything like that. When I was in elementary, anything like that, you could start seeing the cell phones come in when I was getting into high school. But not really. Usually, like the older guys, when I remember when I was a kid, they still had pagers and stuff like that. And so I was just in that gap where when I was going into high school, that's when the cell phones were coming out. So that's when people started getting cell phones. But there wasn't any cell phones or anything like that when I was a kid. So what I would do when I was a kid, and now I'm talking like, but I was like 9, 10, something like that. I would go out and pretty much all the daylight. I'd be out playing road hockey. I'd be playing manhunt. I'd be just doing active things with friends for like if I think about it, probably more than 12 hours a day, at least. Because I know so many times literally played road hockey all day on a weekend, from sun up till past dark, and we had lights on and stuff like that, and we literally played all day, right? Like we'd stop and like have some food, have some lunch, whatever, but then we'd come back and then we'd all be playing. So that's like all I did all day. So from there, when I got into high school, I started going to the gym and working out when I was 13. So that for me, that would have been 2003. And that was the same year that I started drinking as well. So that's kind of weird how that started working out and started drinking, a good thing and a bad thing. So I was always into physical fitness and stuff like that. So I always, I had a long time to build the habit of um, working out and all that kind of stuff and like learning about it. And so for me, when I got sober, it wasn't that much of a struggle to just keep doing stuff that I was doing, right? Like I had moments in my life where I kind of fell off of it, and I noticed, because physical fitness is um it's not only good for your body, but it's good for your mind, right? It gets the blood flowing. It's going to reduce stress. It's going to put you in a better mood. Like, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can go and literally just Google the benefits of working out, and it's like no one's going to debate you that having an exercise practice will be bad for you, right? And I have to say this because I'm not a doctor, but if you start a new physical fitness program, make sure to talk to your doctor and make sure it's okay. I have to say that because I'm not a health professional. I never spoke to a doctor about starting a new program myself, but that's me. That's what I did. I want you guys to be safe, and I don't want anyone to get injured. And that being said, you got to know where to start. So if you've already been working out and you have a routine built, then you can start further along than somebody who is just getting off the couch and doesn't really do anything physically in the physical fitness aspect. But I do think, like, especially in the beginning when you're first getting sober, there's so many benefits from a physical fitness program or like routine. Like, it's crazy. So what I would say is just like sit down, and whether like you have a long standing routine or if you're just starting, whatever, I think this would be beneficial both ways. But just sit down and kind of write out the different things you can do for physical fitness. And you might not even realize it, but if you just go for a walk, that's a good option too, especially if you're like I said, just kind of coming off the couch and you haven't really been physically fit for long periods of time. Because if you just rush into it and go gung ho, you're going to be sore as hell and you're literally just going to give up. Okay. So I've seen that so many times. People are like super excited, especially after New Year's. They're motivated. They want to lose some weight. They want to look good, whatever. They want to feel better. And then they go hit it hard for the first week and they're sore as hell. And then they slowly just die away. Right. So what I want to do is I want to help people build long lasting habits and routines. And there's a lot of different books that you can read that talk about this. Like, and I always come back to Atomic Habits by James Clear because he has a really good way of talking about habit formation and stuff like that. So a couple of things that he taught me that he put in the book was the first thing: you have to change the identity of who you are. So you don't want to be a person who says, "Oh, I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm trying to work out, or I'm trying to start a new habit, or whatever." Right? You want to be that person and then act like that person is. Right? So your identity then becomes, I am a person who is physically fit, or I am a person that goes to the gym, or I am a person that runs, or whatever. And you want to change your identity to that, because then the chances of you continuing on are just going to be so much better than if you use language like try. Like, you don't want to try, you just do. And even if you mess up, that's fine, but you want to keep telling yourself this is who you are, right? And then with that repetition, you'll be building different neural pathways in your brain to be able to think in a better way moving forward. So it'll be able to get you to stick with the routine a lot better. So that's one of the things that I got out of the book. Another thing, and this is going to be really important for people out there that don't have a physical fitness routine right now, and don't think of it like, and literally don't give a shit what other people say, because some of the things I'm going to tell you might sound ridiculous, but in the beginning, especially when you don't have a routine, you're not out you don't want results in the beginning. Like that's the last thing that you should be thinking about. What you want in the beginning is to build the habit of showing up, right? So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how small you start. Like, literally, I think in the book, he was even talking about a situation where somebody, all they did was put their shoes by the door in the beginning, right? And you might be thinking, what the hell? That's ridiculous. Like, why would I just put my shoes by the door? And it's not about putting the shoes at the door. It's not about getting exercise. It's about building the habit and then building from it. So if all you can do consistently for the next week is put your shoes by the door, that's all you're going to do. Okay. So you're just going to go and you're going to put your shoes by your door. And then the week after that, then you'll put the shoes by the door and you'll put them on. Okay. The week after that, maybe now you'll step outside. The week after that, maybe now you'll step outside and you'll walk down the block. The week after that, and you just build on it just like that. So it doesn't matter where you start, right? So don't go thinking like, oh, I need to just jump in and like, oh, this person calls me a pussy, whatever. It doesn't matter. You want to build the habit, because you'll be the one who laughs last when that person calling you a pussy falls off the program because they tried to go too hard, and then you're just continuing on because you built your way up to it and you built the foundation to be able to have a lasting fitness routine. Okay. So that, I think that's the most important part, is the building of the habit. And I like, even for me, it took a long time to like come to that understanding about it. But then when I look back at when I first started going to the gym and stuff like that, there were so many times where like I wanted to quit and stuff like that, but I always like, and this is before the Atomic Habits was even written. But I was like, no. I'm a person who goes to the gym, and I used a support network because at the time all my friends went to the gym. So you can even use uh, like something that would help you a lot too is get somebody to start this habit with you, right? Because then you'll get that accountability from other people. Because like when I was in high school and I didn't want to go to the gym for whatever reason, my other friend would call me a pussy and stuff like that, and I'd be like, no, fuck that, I'm going to go to the gym. So that would get me to go to the gym, right? So another thing is having a community of people to be able to push you and get you to commit. Because like if you're anything like me, I'm the type of person who like I'm a big people pleaser, right? And obviously like that can be a problem, and I've since dealt with that. So now like I don't think too much into what other people think of me, right? And that might be something we can go into in another podcast, because I have something that I can probably share with you on the thought of what other people think about you, that for me was really powerful, and that I learned from somebody. Maybe I'll make that on my next episode or something. But that accountability is really powerful to be able to get you to continue on with your habit, because like at the end of the day, that's what we're working on, is building the habit to be able to show up, to be able to do the things we need to do. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's very simple. Like you're gonna feel super overwhelmed. You're gonna feel like you don't really know what you're doing with yourself when you first get sober. So I think just like pretty much getting new habits and like new things you can focus yourself on instead of the alcohol, instead of the booze, all that kind of stuff. Because I had that physical fitness routine, it was one thing looking back, and I didn't know any of this shit in the beginning, when I was going through it, obviously, and I didn't have anyone to tell me any of this stuff in the beginning. And then I started getting around other people that were doing similar stuff. So I learned a lot on my journey. But I think looking back, one of the things that was most impactful and most powerful to be able to keep me sober was that physical fitness routine. Because like I stuck with it, and like even a couple of different challenges that I faced in the last few months in my life, like I think it was the hardest thing that I went through, and I wanted to drink every single day. But when I was super sad, when I was super miserable, when I was, I felt like I was in my rock bottom of my life, even being sober. I just doubled down on physical fitness and exercise. Like there's literally some days that I was going and working out 3 to 4 times a day just to get through the shit in my life. And then after a couple of weeks, and using physical fitness as a tool to get me through the hard shit in life, then it just worked and it was great. But anyways, I won't keep droning on. Like I said, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. We'll get some cool people on to have some conversations with. So anyways, that's that episode, and I will see you guys next week.